Chapo Trap House, clocking in yet again. It's me, Matt, and Felix, but joining us today is our old pal, Mike Racine, in the
Hello,
cut
boys.
once again. It's Mike. How's it going?
Thanks for having me. Nice to be here.
Well, Mike, it's been a while, but since then you've had a son.
Yeah.
How's that going for you?
I mean, so far, I don't want to, decide his gender already.
Well, you have a child.
Yeah, I have a child. Yeah, no, it's very good. The baby's great. Like some things around it get a little stressful, but the baby's awesome. It's not hard. I don't know why people complain. Because for me, it's been very good. We have a nice little angel baby, and so far so good.
I imagine it's in the minority of our diseased listeners who are capable of reproducing themselves. But for anyone out there who's has a new kid, I mean, you say it's easy. What are some tips that you could provide for our audience on children, the joy and miracle of life?
Yeah, I guess the biggest tip I have for new parents is just to kind of like relax and don't worry about the kid dying. Because chances are, maybe like 3 or 4 times a day, I think my kid is dead when I wake up in the morning. We are raising him Italian. He sleeps in the bed with us, and he's 7 months today, actually. I don't know when that's going to stop, when he's going to sleep in his own bed. But it's like when I wake up in the morning, or when just now I was like getting ready for the show, and I was reading an article, and it was quiet. I had him on the floor, and there was just quiet. And then I was like, "Where's my kid?" And then I looked over, and he was like laying on his back, and he was alive. But for a second, I was like, "Fuck! I killed him."
What if that's how you told us that your kid was dead though? Like that story.
I would. Yeah,
it's
I would
been
probably
fun, but by the way, he like died today.
Yeah, he was freaking dead.
And then I know, and then it's like a whole thing where it's like, if my kid dies under my watch, like, do I call his mother? Do I call my wife and let her know, or do I like wait, or do I like wait for her to get home and like lay the body out, so she can like stumble across it and be like, I don't know what happened.
When you order food in advance of your wife getting home, like she knows the kid died.
Yeah,
like she knows you're buttering her up because the baby's dead.
When there's like $5 bodega flowers on the table, that's how she knows.
It's like a King of Queens episode where their kid dies, but it's just the same in tone as any other episode.
Wait, was that an episode?
Actually, as a King of Queens head, there was a miscarriage subplot in a later season of King of Queens.
First of all, I don't know why that show's not in the conversation as like one of the best sitcoms of all time, because it's so good. It's one of my favorite shows to watch in a hotel room, like late at night.
It's mac and cheese. It's very satisfying.
But then another thing, if I could just continue that other point, like you also think about your kid dying in a lot of like really gruesome ways, like every way imaginable. Like you think about him getting thrown in a pizza oven. When you're like out for
well, you said you're raising him Italian,
Yeah, right. Which is like could be.
I thought that's how they got baptized.
Yeah,
and also you said you're raising a kid Italian, so they sleep in the same bed with you. I mean, like Italian style is when you sleep in the same bed with your mother until you're like 40, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, until you get married.
I'm thinking
until you put a ring on a woman, and that means you can sleep in a bed with someone other than your mom.
Other than your mother.
Yeah.
King beds were invented by Italians for that reason.
Hey, look at me. I'm. It's my king bed. It's like how we addressed each other. Yeah, and then also we live right next to the BQE, so sometimes I just think like, what that would suck if someone threw him into the BQE. So that's just my tip for dads or new parents is just to like just chill out. Your baby's probably not going to die. They're pretty resilient.
But if you are worried about that, you always want to make sure it happens on the other parent's watch.
Yeah, of course.
So that way you're just you're free and easy from the whole guilt thing.
Yeah. That's why baby monitors exist. If you like hear or see your kid like playing with the gun that you keep in that room, or like just it's like, oh, that's not the breath of someone who just has a lot of breaths left. It's like you get out of that room.
Yeah.
So the other parent will be there.
Exactly. And I let him roll off the couch the other day, which like happens, but I was like literally putting on the baby carrier, and then he like I just hear like doosh, doosh, like 2 thuds. And then I look over and he's like laying on his stomach and he starts crying. And my wife got like really mad. So now I'm hoping that like I need him to fall over on her watch so we're like even, you know?
Most babies, like, you know, that old like shitty joke where it's like, oh, you just dropped as a baby. Everyone is dropped like 12 times a day as a baby.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Their babies
like,
are very top heavy.
Yeah. It's like the only guys who aren't dropped a lot as kids, because we're all a victim to this. It was like Stephen Hawking, but look how brittle his body was.
Exactly.
From not being calloused by being dropped.
Exactly.
So you got to pay the piper one way or the other.
Literally, I'm not making this up. My earliest memory is my mom holding me with one arm and she's stirring a pot of pasta and she burned me with the pasta water. It like splashed on my hand.
Another reason you can relax is that the cops, they give you one free kid to just like die. Like they're because of just how squishy and vulnerable they are. If they just stop breathing, you got one kid, they'll be like, don't worry about it. 2 or 3, then they start asking questions.
That's funny because I mean, like I know in the context of the latest Supreme Court hearing, which I guess we'll be talking about in a second. By the way, if you're tuning in, you're listening to the 4 guys you definitely want to hear talk about abortion the most. I mean, we're bringing you this is the highest level of fucking authority on this topic. But no, I mean, I remember like in this
Roe
context.
versus Wade, need it or keep it.
I thought that men should be talking about this stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd think so, but that's what we're doing. We'll be making the New York Times best podcast list next year after they hear this episode. But no, it was about like states that pass laws to like I guess be more humane to as they crack down on abortion. They want to be humane to the infants and the mothers. So they passed a law that would be like no questions asked. You could just drop a child off at like a fire department, just like at a fire station, and like the child will be placed into foster care or put into the system, and then you won't be prosecuted for abandoning your baby. And there were several cases of like of people being prosecuted because they dropped off their like 16-year-old kid at a fire station. Was like, I'm done with this asshole. Is there anything that's just surprised you about having a baby that you weren't prepared for, or that was sort of interesting to discover?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. I've just kind of, everything's been okay. I think I tasted some of his shit today. I was changing him, and I think I had some left on my fingers, and then I ate some potato chips.
Okay.
But it's like, stuff like that, I don't know. That doesn't even like bother me that much. I don't know.
Did you think it was going to bother you, like when you thought about having a kid? You're like, oh, like their shit will be everywhere. I'll be eating potato chips with their shit juice on my fingers. And now you're just like, oh, fuck it.
That's what I thought, but it's like pretty. I don't know. It's pretty easy. His shits are pretty. They're like almost like adult shits.
Oh, that's good.
It's not like liquidy.
They're
like
well formed.
Well formed.
You can get them into AP classes.
That's
how they do it.
I know, the gifted and talented program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I hesitate to bring this up because it is a controversial subject, but you brought it up with an Instagram video I saw the other day. You have made, I think, the bold and correct decision not to circumcise your son.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you're and are you going against family tradition here? I mean, like, are you worried there's ever going to be a conversation about why does my penis look different than my father's?
Yeah, but I think I just won't show him my penis. That's what
It doesn't really solve that problem.
I guess so.
Yeah, my kid will never see my dick.
Everyone thinks they're like making a good choice because it's like, oh, this is not like a decision I should make for someone else at all. Like blah blah blah. Everyone thinks that. Everyone thinks they're being a good parent until their kid doesn't make it into the book of life.
Right.
That was the one thing from Judaism that you still had to do.
What's the book of life?
Oh man, okay. So
all right. The next 40 minutes will not be
the book of life. It's basically like it's God's need it or keep it list. Who gets to live forever? Who doesn't?
Okay.
You guys stole that from Santa.
No, Santa.
That's just the good and the naughty
Santa and
list.
Abraham lived at the same time, and they actually like knew each other, so they borrowed from each other.
It was a collab.
Yeah, Santa was actually the guy who gave Abraham the idea of killing his son
because he was naughty.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
It's
I mean,
like, oh, that's what we do. There's an Old Testament Santa that's like more evil, and that's what Melania's Evil Christmas was honoring.
Oh man. Oh man, everyone's doing the contrast between the Jill Biden Christmas and Melania's Evil
Dude,
Christmas.
fuck the.
And I gotta
the
say,
Dr.
bring back
Jill,
Evil Christmas.
The Dr.
Right.
Jill
Dr. Jill Christmas sucks.
The Dr. Jill Christmas looks like if like oh, we have to change this Menards so it can be a 6-year-old's funeral. we need it just makes you think of like terminally ill children. It's just something about it. It's like, I guess this is like the toddler cancer ward. Like all these
like
bullshit
Patch Adams
stars and
out.
shit. Yeah.
Whereas, what Melania did for the whole Christmas genre, I think fucking it advanced this whole holiday by light years, because like rather than sort of like a Thomas Kincaid painting of just sort of like a warm hearth, pine trees, ornaments, gifts wrapped with string, I think Melania really advanced like the Christmas zone into a kind of Kubrickian liminal space, similar to the end of 2001 or something. It's sort of like you were being reborn through the Christmas holiday into like some sort of dark parallel universe.
Yeah, no, it's like everyone, it's good to be on the nice list, obviously, but there's such a thing as like getting so good at the naughty list that every 7 years when there's an evil Christmas, you can become a Yule demon.
So Evil Christmas is like, it's sort of like the it's like leap year or something. It's sort of based on it's the cycle of the planets. They have to align properly for Evil Christmas to be a thing.
Yeah, 2016 was an evil Christmas. I could tell. I just like felt it. And who knows? Someone became the Yule demon that year. If you became the Yule demon, email us, let us know. But 2 years from now, that's the next evil Christmas, and that's a big opportunity. But evil Christmas is still fun.
And I want to stress here, Evil Christmas is not just about sort of cheekily subverting the Christmas zone by watching Die Hard or talking about Krampus or having like, ooh, like here are gingerbread cookies, but there's psilocybin in them or something. It's not Friends Christmas. It's Evil Christmas. It is the parallel version of the winter solstice holiday.
Yeah, and who's to say what's evil and what isn't? Because this the stuff you do at Evil Christmas, like getting a present for your enemy, that might be good. It's pretty morally great. It's just called Evil Christmas because winners write history, and Santa won the war of Christmas against the evil Santa. Against bad Santa, Billy Bob Thornton. And he was condemned to walk the earth.
Like Cain, he can never die.
Mm-hmm. That's why Angelina Jolie kept his blood in that necklace.
Oh, right. Because she sort of keeps the power of Evil Christmas with her at all times.
She has the power of Evil Christmas, and it allows her to have unlimited adoptions.
Well, we started out the show today talking about family, talking about children, the bonds of family. And we are seeing now this week in the news a prominent story about just that topic. I refer, of course, to those fabulous Cuomo boys, Chris and Andrew. Chris on indefinite leave from CNN following news reports that throughout his brother Andrew's sort of sexual harassment scandal, he used his contacts in the media to basically network dirt on his accusers. And there's been a curious reaction in the media to this rather flagrant violation of media ethics. And the attitude seems to be family over everything. Because, I mean, the idea is that, maybe what he did with his position at CNN was wrong, but, wouldn't you do the same thing in a similar situation if it was your brother, who also happened to be the governor of a state, and you were the host of, primetime cable news anchor?
It depends on what my brother did. If my brother did something like he went up to a series of women and said, I'm lonely, I got lonelyitis, and the only thing that could cure it would be rubbing your back, or made a girl blow on a kazoo in front of him for 5 minutes, or whatever Cuomo did or didn't do. If he did that stuff, abandoning him, probably poisoning him, cutting the brakes on his car, getting rid of it, it's done, time to turn my back. If my brother did something like, hey, I went to a nursing home. Well, let's say every nursing home in the state, and I was just coughing on purpose, and I killed 40,000 people. Then I would be like, everyone fucks up. Everyone does these things, and I would stand by him.
Firing him is it's anti discrimination.
Well,
and I don't say that lightly. Like this is familia. This is what these people do.
Yeah, and
they stick with one another.
And they do kind of represent a negative stereotype of like Italians being horny, because I don't think we're that horny. I think there's others that are way hornier. You know? We mostly like just eating and sitting down and kissing our mothers. We don't really like sex that much. At least that's been my experience. And my whole family, my Catholic family.
But I think it's funny, like, was it like Clive Haberman, who is like, you know, a legendary political reporter whose daughter is now the star political reporter of the New York Times, was like, you know, he had a tweet that was like, you know, he should probably be fired from CNN, but like, you know, why so quick to condemn him? You know, I mean, like, isn't he doing what is asked of all family, which is to cover up their brother's sex crimes in office? And I think it's funny because, like, I mean, this is a story about media ethics that couldn't be like a more clear-cut case of like, well, I mean, that goes back to the other thing, because like, it would seem to me that the more flagrant violation of media ethics was allowing Chris Cuomo to interview Andrew like dozens and dozens of times on CNN when he was popular.
You didn't think that was cool when they'd be like, oh, who's gonna bring the bread rolls this week? And it's like Dachau for old people in the state.
Now, you know, I've seen you referred to a little bit recently as the love gov, and I'm wondering if that's bleeding into your demeanor at all, making you a little soft on the president. That you don't want to really criticize him because you need him, and now's not a time for fighting. But don't you have to balance that with calling him out if he's doing things that you don't think are great for the people of your state to be hearing and experiencing? Love gov?
I've always been a soft guy. I am the love gov. I'm a cool dude in a loose mood. You know that. I just say, let it go. Just go with the flow, baby. You know, you can't control anything.
You've never
so
said
don't
any
even
of those
try.
things.
Water off a duck's back.
It's the first time you've
That's
said
me.
any
No,
of those.
Yeah, I think I. Really? Yeah. Wow.
Never said any of them.
Look,
I've known you my whole life.
All right.
And
Well,
like, you know, like when Andrew Cuomo was riding high,
should
he would
listen
have like
better.
basically
Listening
like
works.
week would
Listen
have like
better.
basically
Listening
like
works.
week would
Listen
have like
better.
basically